The vast emptiness of space stretched before the small human fleet, 5 sleek vessels moving with quiet determination. Captain J. Park stood on the bridge of the USS Horizon, his eyes fixed on the holographic star map that flickered with soft blue light. Around him, the ship hummed with a subtle energy that spoke of purpose and preparation. Elena Kim, the communications officer, adjusted her headset and listened carefully to the background chatter of alien frequencies. Her fingers moved quickly across the console, filtering through layers of encrypted transmissions. The Galactic Confederation had no idea they were coming. The fleet had been preparing for this moment for months. Earth's deep space exploration program had discovered something unusual, a potential strategic corridor that could change everything. About humanity's position in the interstellar community, most government officials had laughed at the proposal. 5 ships against an entire galactic military infrastructure? It seemed impossible. But J. Park was not most commanders. He had studied every available piece of information about alien military tactics. Where others saw limitations, he saw opportunities. The ships were modified exploration vessels, each one customized beyond their original design. Engineers had worked tirelessly, transforming scientific research ships into something far more adaptive. In the engineering section, Sung Park, no relation to the captain, was making final adjustments to their experimental energy distribution systems. His hands moved with precision, rerouting power conduits and reinforcing shield generators. The modifications were unconventional, something that would make most military strategists uncomfortable. "Communication traffic is increasing," Elena announced, her voice calm but precise. "The Confederation seems to be discussing our approach." Captain Park raised an eyebrow. "And what are they saying?" Elena allowed herself a small smile. "They're calling us a minor disturbance. Some are laughing about our fleet's size." The bridge crew exchanged knowing glances. They had heard such dismissive comments before. Humanity had always been underestimated, and each time they had proven their critics wrong. The 5 ships moved with a synchronicity that suggested something more than standard navigation protocols. Each vessel seemed to breathe together, adjusting their positions with minimal communication. They were more than a fleet. They were a single organism with multiple parts. Deep within the ship's computer systems, advanced AI algorithms calculated potential scenarios faster than any biological brain could process. These were not just navigation systems, but complex strategic planning tools that could adapt in milliseconds. Outside the ship's hull, the darkness of space seemed to pulse with potential. Distant stars watched silently as the small human fleet continued its approach. No one on board felt small or weak. There was a sense of anticipation, of something significant about to unfold. Captain Park reviewed the mission parameters one more time. Their objective was simple yet complex: establish a strategic presence in a region that the Galactic Confederation considered their exclusive territory. Simple on paper, potentially revolutionary in execution. The ship's medical bay was prepared for multiple scenarios. Dr. Mira Chen had run countless simulations, ensuring they could handle potential combat injuries or unexpected environmental challenges. Her team represented the best of human medical technology, flexible, innovative, and prepared for anything. As they approached the invisible border that marked Confederation space, a sense of quiet excitement filled the ship. They were not just exploring. They were challenging an established galactic order. 5 ships carrying humanity's ambition, creativity, and unbreakable spirit. The holographic displays showed the first long-range sensors beginning to detect alien patrol formations. They were close now, very close. Captain J. Park straightened his uniform and looked around at his crew. They were ready. Humanity was ready. "Prepare all systems," he said simply. "We're about to make history." The fleet continued its approach. 5 tiny specks of human determination moving steadily forward into the unknown, carrying with them the hopes and dreams of an entire planet. The first alien ships appeared like sharp metal shadows against the dark canvas of space. Their design was angular and threatening, each vessel easily 10 times the size of the human ships. Captain J. Park watched the holographic display with steady eyes, his hands resting lightly on the command console. "Incoming transmission," Elena Kim announced, her voice steady despite the tension that filled the bridge. The alien communication crackled with a strange mechanical tone. The message was clear: surrender or be destroyed. Their language was direct, leaving no room for negotiation. Most military forces would have been intimidated. The human fleet was not most military forces. First Officer Wu Choi began running tactical simulations faster than the aliens could track. The human ships might have looked small, but they were anything but defenseless. Years of studying alien combat patterns had prepared them for this moment. Sung Park in engineering was already rerouting power, creating an unusual energy signature that would confuse standard tracking systems. The ship's computers were working, overtime, calculating impossible maneuvers that defied conventional space combat logic. The alien interceptors moved with what they believed was absolute precision. Large weapons charged, targeting systems locked. They expected a quick and simple elimination of the human threat. Their communication channels were filled with dismissive chatter, jokes about the tiny human fleet. Captain Park saw an opportunity in their overconfidence. "Prepare adaptive response protocol," he commanded. The crew knew exactly what that meant. Where traditional military doctrine suggested defense or direct confrontation, humans had developed something entirely different. The first wave of alien weapons fired, massive energy blasts that should have obliterated any conventional spacecraft. But the human ships moved in a way that seemed to defy the laws of physics. They twisted, merged, separated, a dance of metal and energy that completely disrupted the alien targeting systems. Elena Kim began broadcasting a series of seemingly random signal patterns. To the human crew, these were carefully designed interference signals that would slowly break down the aliens' computational predictability. Each transmission was a tiny puzzle, a challenge to their rigid military algorithms. Wu Choi targeted the smallest vulnerabilities in the alien ship formations. These were not standard attack patterns. Each movement was calculated to create maximum confusion with minimal energy expenditure. The human ships seemed to flow like water between the massive alien vessels. One of the alien commanders began to realize something was wrong. Their perfect, mathematically precise attack was falling apart. The human fleet wasn't just defending, they were actively reshaping the entire combat scenario. Sung Park made a rapid adjustment to the ship's energy systems. The USS Horizon suddenly shifted its electromagnetic signature, becoming almost invisible to the alien tracking systems. It was a trick that shouldn't have been possible with their technology. "They're adapting faster than our systems can predict," one alien commander said, a hint of panic entering his mechanical voice. The human fleet wasn't just fighting. They were learning, changing, evolving with each passing moment. Where alien technology remained static, human creativity found endless possibilities. Captain Park watched the battle unfold with a calm that surprised even his own crew. This wasn't just a military engagement, it was a demonstration of human potential. The alien ships began to break formation. Their perfect, rigid combat structure was falling apart under the pressure of human unpredictability. Each human ship moved like a living thing, finding gaps, creating opportunities, turning the aliens' strengths into weaknesses. "Maintain current approach," Captain Park said quietly. "Let them understand who they're dealing with." By the engagement's end, not a single human ship had been seriously damaged. The alien fleet, meanwhile, was in complete disarray. They had encountered something they could not understand, a fighting force that didn't follow any rules they knew. Humanity had just sent a message to the galaxy. They were here. They were different, and they would not be easily dismissed. The 5 small ships continued their journey, leaving behind a field of confused and defeated alien vessels. Just another day for the human fleet. The USS Horizon's engineering section looked like organized chaos. Sparks flew from modified panels, and holographic displays showed complex energy flow diagrams. Sung Park moved between damaged systems with a speed and precision that seemed almost supernatural. One of the ships had taken moderate damage during the previous encounter, but damage to a human vessel was just another opportunity for innovation. Where other species might call for immediate repair or abandonment, humans saw a chance to create something entirely new. "We're going to turn this problem into an advantage," Sung muttered, his hands moving quickly across the control interfaces. Around him, other engineers nodded. This was how humans solved problems, not with rigid thinking, but with creative adaptation. The ship's hull had a small breach near the secondary power coupling. Instead of seeing this as a critical failure, Sung saw it as a chance to redesign the entire energy distribution system. He began pulling components from different sections, mixing technologies that were never meant to work together. Captain J. Park watched the engineering teams work through the ship's internal cameras. Most military commanders would be demanding immediate repairs. He trusted his team completely. Elena Kim was simultaneously working on communication systems. The damage to the ship had created an unexpected opportunity. She was reconfiguring communication arrays, turning what was once a simple communication tool into a potential weapon of electronic warfare. The alien tracking systems that had pursued them would not expect such rapid technological transformation. Humans didn't just repair, they reimagined. Sung Park's latest modification was particularly brilliant. He took the damaged power coupling and transformed it into an adaptive energy dispersal system. What was once a weakness became a potential strength. The new system could absorb and redirect energy in ways the alien technology could never predict. "We're not just fixing the ship," Sung explained to his team. "We're teaching it to heal itself." The engineering team worked in complete synchronization. Each person knew their role but was also prepared to adapt instantly. They weren't following a manual. They were writing a new one with each passing moment. Outside the ship, space remained a silent witness to this human ingenuity. The fleet continued its journey, each vessel now subtly different from its original design. They were living machines, evolving with every challenge. Dr. Mira Chen entered the engineering section, bringing medical sensors. She wasn't just checking on potential radiation risks, she was collecting data. Human medical technology could learn from these rapid technological transformations. The ship's AI systems were working overtime, learning from each modification. Unlike alien technologies that remained static, this system was constantly updating, constantly improving. It wasn't just processing information, it was understanding it. Captain Park called a brief meeting. "We're not just a military mission," he told his senior staff. "We're explorers, inventors, problem solvers." The aliens pursuing them would soon discover that their technological advantage meant nothing against human creativity. Each human ship was now a unique entity, modified beyond its original design, ready for anything the universe might throw at them. Sung Park looked at the newly modified power system and allowed himself a small smile. What was once a critical weakness was now the ship's most innovative feature. The breach in the hull had been transformed into an adaptive energy management system that could potentially revolutionize spacecraft design. The USS Horizon continued its journey. To an outside observer, it might look like a damaged exploration vessel, but to those who understood human potential, it was something far more remarkable, a living testament to human innovation. Space remained cold and silent. But inside the human fleet, something extraordinary was happening. Technology was not just a tool. In human hands, it was a living, breathing entity capable of endless transformation. The pursuit continued. The alien fleet had no idea what was coming. The alien communication networks began to experience strange disruptions. Elena Kim sat at her console, her fingers moving with precision across complex interface systems. What looked like random signal patterns to the aliens were carefully designed psychological interventions. First, she began broadcasting Earth's musical compositions, classical symphonies mixed with modern jazz, traditional Korean folk music intertwined with electronic beats. The alien communication systems had no framework to process these complex emotional expressions. Their computational networks were designed for pure logical transmission. Music represented something entirely outside their understanding, pure emotional communication that defied mathematical prediction. Captain J. Park watched the strategy unfold with quiet appreciation. Humans understood something fundamental. that most technological species missed. Communication was more than information exchange. It was about connection, emotion, unpredictability. The alien fleet's command structure started showing signs of confusion. Their rigid hierarchical systems couldn't comprehend the multi-layered human transmissions. Where they expected straightforward, military communication, they received complex cultural expressions. Elena began introducing another layer of psychological intervention. She started broadcasting snippets of human historical documentaries, scenes of human survival, technological innovation, cultural resilience. Images of people overcoming impossible challenges flickered across alien communication networks. A battle was happening, but not with weapons. This was a war of understanding, of perception. The alien computational systems began to experience what humans might call cognitive dissonance. Their programming couldn't categorize or process these unexpected transmissions. Each signal was a tiny puzzle that broke their predictive algorithms. Wu Choi supported Elena's efforts by introducing subtle electromagnetic variations that enhanced the psychological impact. The communication wasn't just about content, it was about creating an environment of uncertainty. One alien commander reported strange experiences. Their standard threat assessment protocols were failing. The human fleet wasn't just a military. It seemed to represent something more complex, more challenging to define. Human creativity was their most powerful weapon. Where alien technology relied on rigid mathematical precision, humans thrived on adaptability and emotional intelligence. The broadcasts continued. Traditional dance performances, scientific discovery, documentaries, stories of human exploration and survival. Each transmission was a window into human complexity. The alien fleet's computational network started experiencing what could only be described as technological stress. Their systems were designed for conflict, for clear strategic objectives. The human approach introduced variables they couldn't calculate. Captain Park understood something profound. True psychological warfare wasn't about destruction. It was about challenging fundamental perceptions. Elena discovered another fascinating approach. She began transmitting mathematical sequences that seemed random, but contained deep, almost poetic underlying patterns. These weren't just signals. They were invitations to understanding. The alien pursuit began to slow. Their computational systems were working overtime, trying to decode these complex human transmissions. What seemed like a simple communication strategy was actually a sophisticated psychological intervention. Sung Park in engineering supported the effort by creating subtle electromagnetic signatures that enhanced the transmission's psychological impact. The entire ship was becoming a complex communication device, challenging everything the aliens understood about technological interaction. As hours passed, the alien fleet's aggressive pursuit transformed into something else. Curiosity began replacing their initial military certainty. They were encountering a species that didn't follow any known technological or strategic rulebook. Humans weren't just fighting. They were communicating in the most profound sense possible, challenging perceptions, breaking computational predictions, introducing complexity where the aliens expected simplicity. The 5 human ships continued their journey. Behind them, an entire alien fleet was being transformed, not by weapons but by something far more powerful. Human creativity, emotional intelligence, and an ability to see beyond traditional technological boundaries. Space remained silent. But something extraordinary was happening. A battle fought not with weapons but with understanding. The final confrontation arrived with unexpected silence. 5 human ships faced 50 alien vessels, a scenario that should have been impossible. Captain J. Park knew this moment would define humanity's future in the galaxy. The alien fleet surrounded them in a perfect geometric formation, their massive weapons charged and ready. Their communication channels buzzed with anticipation of an easy victory. They believed humanity's small fleet was nothing more than a temporary obstacle, but humans had a different plan. Wu Choi began executing a series of maneuvers that defied standard space combat logic. The human ships moved like living entities, not rigid mechanical objects. They twisted, merged, separated, creating a dance of metal and energy that completely confused alien targeting systems. Sung Park and engineering had prepared something special. The ship's modified systems could absorb and redirect energy in ways the aliens could never predict. What looked like vulnerable targets were actually complex adaptive platforms. Elena Kim continued her psychological warfare, broadcasting intricate signal patterns that disrupted alien computational networks. Each transmission was designed to create maximum uncertainty, breaking down their rigid strategic algorithms. The first alien attack wave came with overwhelming force, massive energy weapons that could destroy entire planetary settlements focused on the human fleet. Any conventional military force would have been instantly destroyed. But these were human ships. Instead of defending or retreating, the fleet moved into the attack. They used the aliens' own weapon energy against them, redirecting massive power surges through their adaptive shield systems. What should have been a destructive attack became a source of additional power. Captain Park watched the battle unfold with calm precision. This wasn't just a military engagement. This was a demonstration of human potential, of humanity's ability to transform challenges into opportunities. One by one, alien ships began to malfunction. Their perfect formation collapsed as human tactics introduced variables they couldn't calculate. The computational systems designed for centuries of conflict suddenly encountered an approach they couldn't understand. The human ships weren't just fighting. They were learning, adapting, evolving with each passing moment. Where alien technology remained static, human creativity found endless possibilities. Sung Park made a final modification that would become legendary. He transformed the damaged energy coupling from earlier encounters into a complex electromagnetic disruptor. What was once a weakness became the fleet's most powerful weapon. By the battle's end, not a single human ship had been seriously damaged. The alien fleet, meanwhile, was in complete disarray. 50 advanced vessels reduced to floating, confused fragments by 5 small human ships. The Galactic Confederation would never be the same. As the last alien ship powered down, Captain J. Park allowed himself a small smile. Humanity had just sent a message to the entire galaxy. They were here. They were different. And they would not be easily dismissed. The 5 ships continued their journey, leaving behind a field of defeated alien vessels. Just another day for the human fleet. What the aliens had failed to understand was simple. Humans didn't just adapt. They transformed. Every challenge was an opportunity. Every limitation was a chance to create something new. Space remained vast and silent. But something had changed. Humanity had just redefined the rules of interstellar conflict. The universe would never be the same again.